It's getting the preview. Oh, we're live!
Hello.
And we're frozen for some reason. Ken's picture's frozen on a big smile. But that's okay, it's a good picture. Okay. Now we're scooting in. And we're starting. Let's see how many people. Are you getting? I guess we've got people in there now. Yes, we do. Okay, cool. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Box Talk with Moonie Dee. We've got a great guest with us tonight. Got Mr. Ken Boggle. He's going to do the show with us. And we're going to begin. It looks a little funny right now because I've got a headset on and Moonie doesn't. Wave to everybody, Moonie. He's just waving. He doesn't. But that's okay. We'll go back and forth. That way, you know, some of the interview, I'll be asking questions, and then I'll hand the headset over to Chris, and he can ask questions. And then what we're going to do, and I hope you're okay with this, is we're going to have you answer some questions for people that are listening, if you don't mind doing that. Of course, yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll be reading the questions out, and Chris is waving. We'll be reading the questions out and letting you know the names, where they're from, and what their questions are. But yeah, I'm so happy that you're joining us tonight, because the last time, on the last show that we had, Phenomena Encountered, I didn't get to make that show. I was in the chat room. I know. Of course, who doesn't? Yeah, that's true. Yes, we did. I remember I had asked if, hold on real quick. Hold on. I'm going to close this. Okay. I'm back. Sorry about that. The dog was barking. I had to close the door. Anyways, I had asked you how how it looked for Chris and I. What was the outlook on our college season, the tour for the college season, and just overall. And we got a very positive card from you. I remember you. And you know what? I'll say this here online. But one of the things that came out, and it was amazing to hear it come from you, because Chris and I have talked about this, and it's something he and I and his mom, we've discussed doing this, and it's something we definitely want to do more of. But one of the things that came back was you had said, think about doing more theater. Yeah. So that was one of the things that came up. So it's already 7. Sorry, they're telling us in the chat room that they can't hear you, that they can hear me. I know.
What if we pull the headset?
Hold on. Let me pull the headset, and I know it's going to be echoey for you, but if they can hear you that way, that might be better. Hold on. Let's see. All right. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can, sure.
Am I very echoey to you?
You are. Just enunciate clearly and we'll be A-okay.
Okay. So, if I enunciate clearly, you can hear me.
Yes, I hear you there. Yeah.
Okay. I will enunciate clearly, and I won't talk so loud. Is that better?
You're perfect. Just as you are right now, you're perfect.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So, let me see if, yes, we know everyone's saying that your picture's frozen for some reason, and I don't want to mess with it too much because I don't want for there to be no sound. And now, let's see, I'm saying no sound. It's a one-sided, I don't hear your guest. Okay, what about, these are old comments. What about now, guys?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Oh.
Hello?
We don't hear it. So they're saying they don't hear you. I don't know.
That's so strange. We have Ken up.
Let's see. Let's go to the, hold on. Let's go to the settings on, I'm sorry, I hate doing this while but.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
But we can hear everyone.
Yeah. Oh, we can hear you both now. Okay, so now, Oh, good. So now they can hear.
Yay. Hello, everybody. It's Ken Boggle. I am
Much better.
I am getting so good at like going with the flow when it comes to live entertainment. You have no idea. Like the Haunted Space has taught me quite a bit about rolling with the flow when it comes to being live. So
Yes.
Yes.
thank you very much. I'm doing well with it. So thank you all for staying with us. We're going to give it to you good.
Yes, absolutely. And everybody can hear us. Well, it says it's breaking up a little bit, but we're going to work with it. We'll see. We'll make this work. We'll find a way.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll find
Okay.
a way. And like you said, yeah, I mean, and being that we've done this for quite some time too now, we just learned that sometimes, for some reason, technology is just crazy. And and sometimes the shows, you freeze, sometimes you don't, sometimes you just got to keep going. Like you said, rolling with the punches. So we're just going to keep going. Now, some people are saying they can hear us both now. They can hear you.
We're going to do the best we can.
Yeah. We
There we
apologize
go.
right now that the picture is freezing, but as long as you guys can hear us, that's it. We can't do anything about the pictures, guys.
This is the best we can do.
There we go.
So, hey guys, really quickly, just want to, before we get started tonight, we're going to kind of start over a little bit. But we want to ask everybody who's out there, all the box talkers, if you wouldn't mind, please share this video. If you just kind of click on the share button and let everybody know that you're hanging out with us, we would definitely appreciate that. Have an amazing guest on tonight. His name is Ken Boggle, psychic medium, tarot expert, tarot reader. He is going to talk a little bit about himself, what he does, and then we're also going to get into some readings
Yes.
tonight as well.
Yes, we will. So, all right. So, Ken, before we begin, I'm gonna hand it over to you now and just let you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, a little bit what you do, a little bit about what you do, and also I think it'd be great right now for the people that are new viewers, new listeners. Maybe they haven't heard about your show, the awesome show you've got on VidiSpace. Talk a little bit about that and how long you've been doing all this. So those are a lot of questions all rolled into one.
Let's see what I can do about it. So I'm Ken Boggle. I'm a celebrity tarot reader. I've been doing the tarot for the majority of my life. I started when I was 8 years old. I'm now 34. So that's 26 years of shuffling cards. And I have been using tarot, learning the tarot, and developing my own approach to the tarot that entire time. And I read full time. This is not a side gig. It's what I do all the time. It's my profession. It's my path, and I'm lucky that that's true. But I have all kinds of great things. I do tarot readings. I do mediumship readings using the tarot. I do go on paranormal investigations, although I don't get to do as much of those as I'd like. I also have a show on the haunted.space. It's a web network, an internet network where they do paranormal broadcasting. It's called Tarot Date with Ken Boggle. And it airs Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And to be a part of that, you go to thehaunted.space and you can purchase a subscription to the site. You can purchase individual episodes of mine. You can rent individual episodes, or like I said, subscribe to the entire network. There's a great body of paranormal broadcasting happening there with Johnny Hauser and with the Shrek family and the Ghost Crier guys and all kinds of different other content too. They have some static cams and things like that, which are really, really awesome. But yeah, my show's called Tarot Date with Ken Boggle, and I'm on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern Time.
That's awesome, and we're going to be joining you on that network. We're excited to be there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh, cool.
The Ghost Box Chronicles Live is going to be on, and Live Inside the Box, we're going to be doing a monthly show. And we're actually debuting on March 23rd and 24th from New Orleans, from Bloody Mary's Haunted Museum. So we're pretty excited about that.
Well, welcome to the family.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we are excited to be here. We saw the future too, so we're right there with you.
Yeah, you did. You totally did. That's true.
But yeah, we're really excited to be on with all you guys. It's a really great lineup so far, and I know they're adding new stuff every day, so it should be really, really cool.
Absolutely.
So let's get a little bit into your history. So how did you find out about this? What was your story? What was the discovery for you?
Well, I had paranormal experiences and like psychic medium experiences from the time as far back as I can remember, really. I mean, I guess I'd have been 5 or 6 years old. And I spent a lot of time with my grandmother. And around the age of 8, she began to stop accepting things as coincidence and started really getting into the fact that I was gifted. Turns out she was gifted too. And she started working with me on discussing like spirit interactions, how to communicate with spirits, the yes and no's, the things you should and should not do. And then my Aunt Caroline came to my house on poker night with a deck of playing cards, a regular pack of like poker deck cards. And she said, I'm gonna read fortunes for your mom and your sisters, but I'm gonna teach you how to do it. And she did. And so I went back to my grandmother with this deck of cards, and I was like, "Look what I can do!" And she said, "Okay, that's all very cool and groovy, but can you do tarot?" And I was like, "What is what?" And so she and I went and we purchased a deck called it's called the Wonderland Tarot, and we started learning from that. And that was years and years and years of work with her. And then I started self-discovery on my own and started using the things that she taught me on my own. So, yeah, the history goes way, way back, way back. But it's been my whole life. It's been great.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that's great because in our families, too, the ability's been handed down. It's that hereditary aspect of it. And sometimes I think unless you've lived it and kind of experienced that wacky kind of family thing that's happened,
Oh, yeah.
you don't really understand. So I'm really blessed today. I'm able to work with my mom. She's out there doing all this stuff with us. We got Mama Moon with us on a consistent basis. But
Cool.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's fun to bring it all together. It really is.
Yeah. Well, my granny was the only one that really did that with me. My father was really against it, and I don't think she really ever talked to anyone else about it. I don't think she even talked to my sisters about it. I don't think that it was something she and I did alone. And wow. They really were very religious to the point where they did not accept that God gave us gifts. They just thought, anything you do beyond prayer is evil and that kind of thing. And my granny was like, no. God says, don't hide your lie behind a bushel. Don't hide your talent. Certain people are counselors of men, and that's what you should be. And and so that's what happened. And to this day, we don't even talk about it in my home. And I haven't seen that side of the family since God was a child. I have no idea.
Wow.
I don't even know if they even participate or watch any of my stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what part of the country do you reside from?
Well, I'm from a place called Hippo Holler.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a pet rooster, and then I walked before school on a little leash around his foot. I had went to a school in the holler. We didn't really have paved roads until 1996, wow. And being what I am, as I am, this sort of insanely classy, stylish type dude. It was really difficult for me there. So as soon as I graduated, I got the hell out of there, and I vowed to never return. Like I'm never going back again, ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, that's in Kentucky, and I've spent my life here in Kentucky. I was accepted to the University of Tampa. And I packed everything, and after high school, I packed everything and moved to Tampa for a great total of like 3 hours. I was there, and it went from one mishap to the other, so I left as fast as I could. So, yeah, I've been here in Kentucky the entire time, and I love it. Yeah, it's where I live, it's where I work, and it's where all of my family is, my paranormal family.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. One of the things I wanted to ask you, and I hope you can hear me. I'm now concerned that you... Okay, one of the things I wanted to ask was, because it comes up a lot. I know it comes up a lot to Chris and I about what do you do when you're going to get in that space to connect with spirit and use your abilities to really tune into, handing out those messages that people need to hear. What do you do to prepare for that, or how do you connect with spirit? That's a question that comes up a lot. People always want to know, what are the different methods?
Well, I have in my home, I have a prayer room. It's a room I go to every morning and every evening, and I'm in there for 45 minutes at a time. And I'm a chanting Buddhist. Okay. So I light the incense, I light my candles, I get my prayer beads, and I get in rhythm with my chanting. And the chanting opens up my mind, it opens up all my chakras, and then allows me to, once I've opened up, it allows me to sort of bring myself together to kind of not only get in rhythm, but also to really focus my energy. And then from there, I go about my day. I'm turned on, I'm good to go. And then I go with that until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I start reading. And as soon as I do the shuffle when I'm reading cards is really where I'm accessing my information. You would think that it's from the actual cards, and that's partly true, but it's really in the shuffle that I'm turning on. It's in the knock that I do before I lay out the cards, so that my mind is in the right place, so that my ADHD is focused, and then I'm laying the cards out, and it comes to me. It speaks, and that's how I do it. And then, of course, at the end of the night, I go back in the prayer room and I close off, and I release. And I give gratitude, and I pray for all the spirits and all the people with whom I've spoke that day. And then I go home and have a Reese cup, go to bed rather, and have a Reese cup. And that's my rhythm. That's what I do. So I start my day with a strong religious practice that allows me to open up.
I love it.
And then in the process of reading the cards, there are several different steps to that really lock it in and bring me to where I should be.
Right.
Well, I love that. I love that process, the way you explained it and everything. And just you say you're a chanting Buddhist, so you probably that mantra, right? What is it? Om Mani Padme Hum. That one?
No, that's not the one I do. The one I do is Nam Myoho Renge Kyo.
Oh.
And like Tina Turner does this, Herbie Hancock does this, Boy George does it, the guy who sang Barely Breathing back in the Duncan Sheik in the 90s, Duncan Sheik, he does it. And I found that when I do it, it really opens my mind up to see things as they really are. It really alleviates any of my own judgments or my own perceptions, and I begin to see the reality of life, my life and everyone else's. So 45 minutes of that chanting over and over and over. And by the time it's done, I come out there like totally at peace. Like I am the happiest version of Ken Boggle you could possibly get.
I love it.
Then you go to Kroger and the whole thing's over. You're like,
right, it's over at that point.
Yeah.
Understand that one. So Ken, I kind of like to talk to people about who have the abilities. I like to ask about the process for you in the sense of when you start making pure communication, when you start getting what I like to call the download. How does that work for you? How do you hear spirit? How does it kind of come through you at that point?
Well, when I was younger, my granny taught me to tune in by staring into a white candle and to breathe and to count down. And I would count 4 breaths in, 4 breaths out, and I would really keep breathing in that way. And then as I got older and I started doing this on a regular basis, it's in the shuffle that I began to really connect. And then I sit quietly, which is weird because I talk all the time, but I sit quietly. And the cards begin to form a picture of a person, and then either the spirit will speak to me or will show me a picture. And then I check that against what the cards say, because I'm really big on protecting myself spiritually. Right. So if the voice or the information or the picture doesn't match what's in the cards, I begin to ask questions of that spirit. And if they don't work out properly, I stop. Because it's usually not the spirit I'm trying to speak to, and I don't like being confused or tricked, and I shut down. But usually it just comes from voices or usually pictures.
That's really interesting. Yeah, all I can do really equate it to is what my mom does, because she reads traditional tarot. She's what I would call a tarot expert, and it sounds like you two are probably two of the very few people who actually start to use their abilities with the cards, as opposed to just pulling a card and telling someone what it means. you start to see the picture, you start to make the communication, and then you really tie it all in together, which I appreciate. So I think that's great.
Yeah. Me and your mom could sit down and have a cup of coffee.
Yes, you could, and I'm hoping you do soon.
I would love that. Oh my gosh.
Are you more towards the Lexington area or Louisville?
Yeah, I'm in Lexington.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually right in the middle of it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I used to spend quite a bit of time out there at Patty Starr's shop, the Ghost Hunter shop.
Yeah, actually, Patty Starr's what got me started professionally.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I didn't even say anything to her about what my training or anything like this. And when I had met her, I was in a really dark place in my life, and I was like 286 pounds, severely depressed, suicidal. I hadn't worked in a long time because of health issues. And I went to see Patty at her shop. She had a place there called the Ghost Hunter Shop in Lexington. She and her husband, Chuck.
Yep.
And she said to me, well, what can I do for you? And I said, here's $50. Find me something, and whatever you give me, I'll take. And she said, you should totally have a deck of tarot cards. I said, damn, oh my God, this is really. So she went and she got me a deck of tarot cards, and it's the very same deck I use to this day. These are 4 years old. They were given to me. Well, I bought them from Patty Starr, but she selected them for me. And she really got me going. And in fact, the first time I'd ever really read for people in person outside of family and friends and acquaintances was at the Ghost Hunter shop when she was doing the Mystical Paranormal Fair.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to hold some events there, and they were right around the fair. So, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We used to do presentations in that little back room. You know where I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It was it was an interesting place because it was like a gallery, an art gallery / ghost hunting shop. So
yeah,
I love that place. That's great. I've known Patty for years. That's awesome.
There's an interesting question in the chat room, and it's more of a question, and I want to get your take on this, Ken. This is from Lindsay Redding. She says, is ringing in the ears, does it mean that angels are talking to you? Someone told me that that's what that was. What's your belief in that when people are getting the ringing in the ears?
That is like a question that has been asked of me multiple times in the last 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing. And the answer is it is individual to each person, but the consensus of it, from all the research I've done and from personal experience, is that when you get the ringing in the ears, it is very likely that you're about to start receiving information. Last night on the Haunted Space Facebook page, I did a reading for a girl who said she was hearing flutes.
Wow.
And I was like, I've never heard of that, and so I shuffled the cards, and sure enough, that was her spirit guide's way of saying information coming,
Right.
Here it is. So yeah, it's a total thing. It happens. But it's every person's individualized. I highly suggest something though. First, go to a doctor. Have your ears checked, and if there is no natural explanation for it, get a journal. Start keeping track. You're probably you're picking information up. So yeah, good question, and the answer is most often yes.
That's interesting, and it is individual to everybody. Because for me, usually my indication is that if my ears are ringing that really high-pitched sound, someone's talking badly about me. And then I find out about it later. I'm like, there it is. They're talking about me. And then I find, somebody just told me this about you, so it's me. So that happens all the time. I'm hurting constantly, but yeah.
I mean, I can't believe somebody would say something negative about you, Chris. You've never been unkind to me, ever.
I've never had any controversy around me at all.
He's a good guy.
Well, guys, I just again want to tell you we are here. I know we're having some audio and video.
Well, the videos keep freezing, but we're pushing through.
Yeah, we're making
people can hear us, and I like some of the people in the chat room are like, "Don't worry, guys, the video's frozen. Just listen. It's not a movie."
Yeah. You're not at the Cinemark. You'll be fine.
You're also, Ken, just so you know, you're freezing in some really good positions because usually when you're smiling or you're pointing and making a point to someone, so it looks good. It looks like we're showing one of those old-timey cartoons. It's pretty
God. I love you for that. That's hilarious. Old-timey cartoon.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the haunted space. How did this happen for you? How did that all come together?
That's an interesting story. I had been, I'm Elizabeth. It came from Elizabeth Saint. I have been reading Elizabeth for a year.
Oh, okay.
I met her at Scarefest 2 years ago, and we hit it off. And I think we had a couple of shots together, and then our booths were like, I think she was right across the aisle from me, and we kind of traded information, which she doesn't do that with a whole lot of people.
Right.
Which I've learned to stop doing that actually. But anyway, we've traded info, and then pretty soon, I think it was like in a couple of months, she actually reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you mind reading for me?" And I said, "Sure." And then she got in the rotation of every 6 weeks, which is what all of my clients do. They get a better price by doing it. They get clear, regular checkups, all these things, and they get 6-week predictions to hold them in between readings, and all that stuff was coming true for her. And she's even takes notes, and she's like, "Ken said this would happen," and then boom, it does. And so she said to me, "Gosh, I guess it's been late November, early December." She said, "So I'm doing this thing where we're going to do a network." And I think by that time I'd read for Nick Groff as well. Only once or twice, I think. Maybe 3 times, I'm not sure. But anyway, she said, "Would you want to do this with me?" And I happened to be under contract for a network show from a different studio. And I said to her, "Well, I've got this problem." And she said, "Totally not a problem, because I'm going to hook you up in your contract so that you can do both." And I called them up and said, "Can I go do this with Elizabeth Saint?" And they said, "Absolutely. Just make sure that that the contract says you can do both." And it totally did. And then by January 31st of this year, I was on the haunted.space.
Awesome.
Nice.
I love that story. That is awesome.
Yeah, Elizabeth is awesome, guys. For those who don't really know a whole lot about Elizabeth behind the scenes, she's one of the most genuinely nice people you'll ever meet. She
absolutely.
She actually reached out to me. We were both living in Colorado at the time. This was about a year ago. Well, over a year ago, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah, about 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
And she just reached out to me and was like, "Hey, we do investigations. I just moved to Colorado, and I understand you're a medium, and we might be able to use you on some investigation." Then pretty soon it all kind of came together that she was doing Ghost of Shepherdstown, and we decided to put together the Dark Matters Paranormal Symposium at the Lumber Baron Inn out in Denver, and that was just awesome.
Yeah.
Really cool. And without that, I wouldn't have met this chica right here. I wouldn't have met her in a roundabout kind of way. So I'm really glad that all happened. So in a strange way, Elizabeth Saint got us together.
That's true.
But the thing about that, though, Chris, and if you think about it, that's when you and I started following each other on Twitter.
There you go.
It was that exact same time.
There you go.
And I think it was only like a few months after that I met Dee. So it's all very connected.
Oh, wow, that is
There's
true.
our soul circle.
There's a soul circle. See, souls find each other, soul families.
Yes.
And I very strongly believe that we're all part of the same soul family. I mean, you and I we haven't done many shows like this together, but we've always had that mutual respect and love for each other. And I've always just thought that you're just the biggest sweetheart ever, and I just love you to death.
I don't know about biggest sweetheart. There's about 1,000 people that would really disagree with you on that. But screw them. Who cares? You love me or you don't. And either way, just keep watching. It'll be fine. You'll get over it.
Absolutely.
Well, totally. I think, do you want to get into reading some questions for people?
I could
sure.
talk to Ken for a while.
I know. Chris is like, I just want to keep talking to Ken. Chris just loves you.
Well, I think I love him too. We should do it more often.
We're going to do this all the time.
Yeah. And you know what? We need to do, because I'm going to tell you right now, we're gonna kidnap you and do another one of these shows, another Wednesday night with you, because we got to get this whole audio thing rolling. And I don't want to do, I want to do another show where it's just perfect from beginning to end.
Oh, I love that. As a perfectionist, you understand. I love that. Yeah.
Or maybe we can do a guest appearance on your tarot date with Ken Boggle.
You know the people to help you get in there.
We do know those people.
I don't know. Listen, seriously, I don't know why I've not been traveling to other people who are doing like who have series. I really like. I think that's a brilliant idea for other people who have shows on the Haunted Space to have tarot dates, or to have me as a part of their investigations or whatever. Let's keep it in the family and
I was talking about that today.
Chris and I were talking about that today. I said, how awesome would it be if we have people from other shows, like I say we have Dan Class on one of our investigations, or if we say, hey, we want to bring Ken Boggle along to one of our, Ghost Box Chronicles Live and have you there during the show. I mean, oh my God, I would love it.
I mean, that's brilliant.
Yes, it is. And I would love for you to come, to do one of the shows with us. I would love to be on.
This is a public offer to you.
Yeah, this is a public offer. Have us on the show and read for both of us.
At least lie to us now so we don't look dumb.
No, well, I never lie to anybody, so the truth is I publicly accept.
All right.
Yay!
It's on then. Hey, and I do want to tell you really quickly, Ken, we have, if you don't know, we've got a group out there, the fans who listen to the show. They're called Box Talkers. And these people are literally the most awesome, loyal fans in the entire world, and I'll tell you why. I want to talk about something that happened today, and then we can jump into some readings if that's okay.
Sure.
But just to kind of tell you that there still is some really good things out there. So today I did a reading for a lady, and it turns out that she has MS. She made a really good connection. She was able to speak to several members of her family through the Ghost Box, get some messages, and she was really happy with what happened. But after the reading, we were kind of sitting around talking about it, and she said, I'm trying to get a GoFundMe going for stem cell research or I don't know what you'd say.
Treatment.
Treatment,
yeah.
Thank you. And so I said, send me the link. Just let me post it up and let me see if I can get people interested in it. So within a few minutes, we posted it up, and we had a lady who sells makeup online that donated all of her commissions for the next sale to the cause. We had several other box talkers that already jumped in and made donations to her. And it's so cool because this group of people are so spiritually minded. They really believe in the greater good. And our hashtag is no darkness allowed. That's what we always put in.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
So if we ever get anybody who comes in here, you get troublemakers that stop in, get some trolls that pop in every once in a while, that you'll see the hashtag fly up. But it's amazing because this group of people are some of the purest people out there, and they absolutely love you. I've read tonight more in the chat room than any other guest we've ever had. I'll just say that right now.
Oh, God. Y'all, now listen, that's super sweet. And I want you all to follow me so I can follow you back. And, get on the Twitter, get on the Instagram, get on the Facebook. I'm not one of those people who is so far up their own. I don't know if I can cuss, so I'm trying to really be careful.
Oh, yeah,
but
go for it.
Okay. I'm not one of those people who's so far up their own ass that they won't follow back. That's not who I am. So if I see that you're friends with the D or Chris, you're totally in. I will totally follow you back, and I really pay attention to what you're going through and all this other stuff. No messages at 3 a.m., but everything else is a-okay.
Yeah, guys, that's just a little common respect that we ask for. Okay? We have lives too. And something that you said earlier, I want to touch on right before we jump into readings. I know I keep saying that, but I love the fact that you said this is what I do for a living, because that's what Dee and I do for a living. We do readings, we lecture, teach classes, speak at universities. Write books. That's our life. That's what we do. And one thing that we always talk about is, sometimes people jump in and they say, I want a free reading, give me a free reading. And I always say the same thing to them. It's an energy exchange no matter what you do. You don't go to the fast food restaurant and demand free food. You don't go to the doctor and say, operate on me, I'm a nice guy. It just doesn't work that way. We have these 3D needs that we have to survive. We have to pay the rent, we eat just like everybody else. So, I like to tell people, hey, we like to think we're decent people, but we have to survive too. So, I think one of the worst things that happens is when people come to you and just expect that you're going to hand over your service for free. Now, I'm sure in your situation you've probably donated some time. I think we all have in certain situations, but it's good to know. I'm trying to get everybody to stick together because we all really have to survive in this, and it's good for you to kind of make that public statement along with us. So I appreciate that.
Well, can I talk about it for just a second?
No, Ken, no. Stop. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
That doesn't get said to me often, and when it does, I love it. everybody has to hear no on occasion, or you get twisted. So let's talk about it. If you don't, it's extremely hard to make a living doing what we do. It's hard. If you don't have a network television show that is on television that does not require a subscription, people, really just want to turn on a TV and sit there. They want entertainment to happen to them. It's hard if you don't have that kind of accessibility. So if we are going to live true to ourselves and do the work that it takes, and Chris and Dee are the kind of people like myself who really try to give you the very best version of themselves. In order to do that, we have to pay the bills. We have to buy clothes. This was not free. My shirt was not free. My glasses aren't free. My dental care is not free. Right. I pay for services from people that do good work for me. And I ask that they do the same in return to me. Now, having said that, I am known for doing readings at charity events. I do the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation, Coal River Children's Advocacy Center for children who've been sexually abused. I do the Bluegrass Rape Crisis Center. I do different kind of charity events where I give my time freely. Other than that, in everyday life, I come across people who say, it's just really, really hard for me. And in my gut, I can always spot someone who's just trying to have at me, or people who are actually really going through something. And in those times, I have given that also. I've even had people who say, hey, I've got a GoFundMe. One lady said, I have a GoFundMe. I need a new roof. We're living in a trailer, and my kids have to sleep in rain jackets. I sent her $1,900. I was like, that totally can't happen. You have to have a roof over your head. Yeah. But no, I'm not doing that for everybody. But I'm saying we have to be paid back. And like Chris said, it's an exchange of things. Please don't take it personally. But, we work hard for you the same way a carpenter would, a dentist, a drive-through, whatever. And, we just ask for that to be returned. So don't be offended by it. We just got to take care of us, too. It's an exchange of energy. So. That's right.
Totally agree. Want to tell you, too, that from the network and from Ghostbox Chronicles, Jim Martin wants to say hello to you. Mm-hmm.
Hello, Jim Martin. Hello.
He texted me because he's kind of a big deal. And he has my number, so he told me to say hello to you, so we're good there.
Yes, hello, Jim Martin, yes.
And I just want to say, we're going to jump into readings now. Thanks to everybody who's in the chat room tonight, who's done readings with us over the last couple of weeks. We've had an amazing run of being able to help a lot of people. And we want to suggest that you book readings with Ken as well.
He's amazing, guys.
And I'm going to give you the biggest endorsement. Ken, I am actually, and Dee will attest to this, I am probably one of the biggest skeptics that is out there. Mm-hmm. And that sounds crazy.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's good, healthy skepticism is great. You have
to be, right?
Yeah.
Even when you have the ability, you've got to be skeptical.
Yes.
So I'm very hesitant to shower praise upon other psychics, not from jealousy or professionalism, whatever. It's just the fact that I don't have a lot of psychics that I've met that have ever hit anything for me, even remotely close. Mm-hmm. And the other night when Dee jumped in, which was interesting, into her own show in the chat room, and asked you a specific question about our situation, you hit the nail on the head. And I mean, I had to step back. I literally was like, oh my God.
He's like, he has no clue that we've been talking about theater.
It was so specific. And I was just blown away by it. So I want to tell you, and I want to say publicly, glowing endorsement from me, if that means anything. I just want to say you absolutely nailed it.
Mm-hmm. The reading you did for us was amazing.
Well, you've really kind of screwed me over because I don't really handle praise very well. I tend to cry. Oh. And and so I'm trying to fight it back now. I don't handle praise all that well. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, as Elizabeth saying, they were doing an interview after I did a reading with a woman who said really, Rebecca Barnes, I think was her name, the very first client I did on The Haunted Space. And I was in the kitchen, they were in another room, and she was saying such great things about me, and I was in the kitchen crying. Like I was like, fanning myself and saying to Elizabeth, like, I can't do it. And then she and Nick took me to dinner and have drinks, because I always like to drink after a hard day's work. And I fell apart. They were talking so sweet to me, great things like you just said, and I blubber. So thank you. Your endorsement means a lot to me, and that's just something that kind of unity of people inside this business is very hard to find, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. That was awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We mean it. I mean, it was that night after you did that reading for us. We talked about it all night. We went. I mean, we were at the NACA convention in Boston, and after people coming up after the whole thing was over that night, we were like, wow. He was just, and Chris kept telling me like, that guy's amazing. He's like, Ken is amazing. I will absolutely recommend him to anybody that asks me for any other psychics that I think that are out there. I'm like, oh yeah. And so believe me, he's awesome. And it's true. I mean, the card that you pulled and the way you interpreted the card and said, guys, I would think, start looking at theater. And when he heard you say that, he looked at me like, oh my, because we had already talked about doing that, like that. We felt that was the next step for us. So it was just validating that you felt it as well,
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's hard. It's hard to do what we do when people are in front of us. It's even harder to do it on the phone. It's even harder to do it via chat room. Right. So the fact that you can connect with people like that, I think really Dee is the fact that you and I are so connected. Like it's like some kind of weird karmic connection we have.
Yes, we do.
But I think that makes it easier. But that's made my night. I'm done. Thanks for listening, folks. I appreciate it. I'll see you later.
Ken's leaving, guys.
Ken's leaving. He's gonna go cry happy.
Peace and chicken grease. We'll see you later.
Okay, I keep saying we're going to get to reads. One last thing I want to say before we jump in. One of our great box talkers, Cheyenne Smith, her son is actually going through some treatment in the hospital. His name is Noah. He's going through some pretty severe stuff right now, and the family's going through that as well. So there's a hashtag that Cheyenne put in. I'd like everybody to share that, not just here, but also everywhere online that you possibly can. It is Prayers for Noah, number 4, Prayers for Noah. Everybody send some good, positive, healing energy to them, and we know they're going to get through it, but let's try to make this time easier for them.
That's right.
Okay, that being said, now we're going to jump into some readings.
I'm gonna ask the first question. This one is coming from Kelly Perkins, and she says, "My dad passed away this Saturday. Any messages for him from me? I mean, from him to me."
Okay, this is going to be very anticlimactic. I don't really like to do spirit readings unless I'm face to face with that person.
Okay.
The only reason why is because, and I have no reason for this, but in my gut I feel very disrespectful to the spirit, and I feel disrespectful to the person. So what I'm doing is, if you want to message me privately and do a private reading, I would be more than happy to do that for you. But I really feel like an ass because we waited all this time for me to start reading.
No. Everybody, that's another thing. Everybody, has different ways they do things, and some people will say, okay, yeah, let me answer that. But I totally understand why. I mean, you feel this is, and it is personal, and to just, blurt it out there and say, yeah. I get it, I understand.
Yeah.
It's a personal one, especially because it just happened. So we can go to another one.
Thank you. And what was her name again? Who was the person?
Kelly Perkins.
Kelly Perkins. Okay, I'll write it down.
Okay.
So, and I had a couple of people asking, because we do have some frozen video and some bad audio. We are here with Ken Boggle, psychic medium extraordinaire, tarot expert, tarot reader. We are blessed to have him on tonight. He's going to be doing some readings for us, and we're going to jump back in for some more questions.
We're going to jump back in. And also, guys, stay tuned, because we're probably going to be guesting on each other's shows on Biddy Space.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. We've got, let's see. Okay, Cora Mosier. She's a long-time box talker. Cora Mosier says she wants to know, will this year be better for her? Will it get any better for her?
All right, well, let's get started. We'll find out.
And
Let's
Cora,
see.
if it matters, she's in Texas. That's where she's located. Ken is shuffling the cards. For those who can't hear. He's doing it masterfully. I know you can't see it on the video, but he's doing an amazing job. Very skilled. Easily could be in Vegas. I feel like you need to do a drum roll. It's happening, guys. It's happening now. Cards are being laid out.
Okay, I'm going to give it to you straight. There are a lot of things standing in Cora's way. Cora is her name?
Yes.
Cora, there's a lot of things standing in your way. There's a lot to do with her own self-emotions. There's things that you need that you're not giving to yourself, and there's things that you need that others are not giving to you in return. You've got to make sure that the energy balance of emotions are balanced in your life. You got to make sure that you are getting what you're giving. Also, I don't so much like the fact that she beats herself up, and I don't like the fact that people take advantage of her. So those two things have to change. We've got to start getting what we give, and we've got to start treating ourselves better and be treated by others better. Also, Corey, it's my advice to you that instead of focusing on all the ways things have gone wrong, you turn around and focus on how the things in your life are right. You know, we often get boggled down. I hate using that word because it's the last name, but we get beaten down when life has given us such turmoil, and we begin to get comfortable with it. And then we begin to get tunnel vision. All we see is the negative. What I really want for Cora to do, if she wants to make this year better than the last, is to turn around and count her blessings and to be grateful every single day that she's a good person, deserving of love, deserving of kindness, and deserving of decency, and to be treated with some respect. So yes, it can happen, but you've got to start making those changes. You have to be clear about where you are in your life and all the advantages that you do have, all the blessings that are there.
Okay.
That's great.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
Okay, Cora, I hope you heard that, or most of that, and I feel like you hit the nail on the head with her, because I do know her personally, and she's messaged me, and I've helped her through, so everything you're saying are things that myself and Chris have told her before too. So
Okay. Okay.
I've got another question here. This is from Selena Shupman. So this one's for you, Selena. It says, "Hey Dee, I need a reading. I've been going through relationship problems and have to make some hard choices, but I'm losing myself through it all. Am I making the right choice, and will good be coming in the near future?"
So her question is she on the right path with her relationships? Mm-hmm. Okay. We're shuffling. Yes, yes. You are on the right path. Good things are coming to you, but you have got to start really paying attention to all the ways you are investing your time, your energy, and your efforts. You got to see all the ways inside of a relationship that are either paying you back or not paying you back. Don't overanalyze them, but simply take a good step back and see where you're at, see where you'd like to be, and see if those two images reflect each other. I think it's important for you inside of relationships to ground yourself emotionally. I think it's important for you to be a bit sharper mentally, to be a bit more focused, to know exactly what it is you want from relationships, and then to make it happen. Also, I think that maybe there are some warning signs that you've not been paying attention to that maybe you should actually start taking note of. But yeah, overall, I think good things are coming for you. I think that I've given you the advice that you need to really make the best out of everything that already is.
Awesome. Sorry about that bark.
It's okay. I jumped a little. Did you see? I was
Yes.
like, ooh.
That is Stephen, the ghost hunting dog. Let's see here. Savannah Martin, who's a good friend of ours and a great client, said, "Hello guys, any messages tonight from my guides?"
Savannah
Martin.
He's like a blackjack dealer.
He's like, yeah, he's a blackjack dealer. Ken can have another job as a blackjack dealer in Las Vegas, Reno.
Savannah needs to be taking better care of her health.
Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
Savannah. So Savannah needs to take better care of her health, huh?
And of herself in general, but most specifically, she should be taking better care of her health.
Okay.
Okay, Savannah, I hope you heard that. I'm typing it in there just in case she missed it. But yeah.
Also, Savannah needs to learn how to not become a martyr. She needs to learn how to draw a line between giving and sacrificing, and then what she's doing, which is even more extreme than that sometimes.
You don't know how true that is, Ken. I know for a fact.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I think is most important from what her spirit guides are trying to say to her is something that reminds me of back in the day. There was a commercial for a watch called Timex, and the log line or the catchphrase was "Take a licking, it takes a licking and keeps on ticking."
Mm-hmm.
That's totally Savannah. She is the Timex.
Yes.
So she has to understand that in the position of a wounded warrior, she must never desert her post. She has to continue. She must persevere. She must get through it. And her spirit guides are telling her, you can build all the walls you want to around yourself. Something will always get through. So you have to really strengthen yourself. You have to really pull forward determination and perseverance from within you so that you can better handle what your responsibilities are in life. Also, she needs a bit more way of grounding herself. And it would do her very, very well to have a bit more freedom in her life, a bit more joy in her life, a bit more warmth.
Well, I hope she is in there listening. I haven't seen her pop back in yet, but I'm telling you right now, knowing her, that was dead on, Ken. That was very, very accurate. You definitely channeled her guides.
Good. Good.
Here's an interesting question, and I don't know if this is one that, but maybe you can pull a card and see what insight you get. Missy Ann says, need to know why and who, not a person, is taking my candles and making a point of it. This is very important, please.
So Missy is asking who is taking her candles.
Mm-hmm.
Ken is on it, guys. I can just watch him shuffle cards all day.
I know, me too. I think it's improving. It seems like they're saying the audio is perfect, that video, so
Yeah,
that's good.
it's positive stuff.
Yes. That's good.
I'm having a really hard time accessing who this is. So let me tell you who it's not.
Okay.
It's not demonic. It's not dark. It's not evil. I see nothing in here that leads me to believe that there's something malevolent behind it.
Okay.
What I do see are lots of youthful spirits.
Ah.
So it could be that you have a prankster. It could be that... Wait a minute. Hold on just a second. I have a question for her. I need to know if they end up in the same places, if she finds them in the same places. And if she doesn't, I need her to start paying attention to where they end up. Because there's something specific, significant about where they're being placed and what's being done with them. I don't know what that means.
See if she'll come back and let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good. Ultimately, though, I don't see anything negative or dark behind it. I don't think it's something that she needs to worry about, maybe, having a dark entity or something like this. These cards don't reflect any of that.
Good, that's the positive thing.
Yeah. My granny used to say, when you're reading cards, tell them what's there, but also tell them what's not there, because that can equally be as empowering
That's
to know
true.
what's not there. Yeah.
What amazing
Yeah.
advice.
You know what? That's actually great advice, because there's been times when I'm doing readings and the same thing happens when I say, you know what? I can't connect exactly to what the answer is, but it's great advice to say, because sometimes that does happen to me where I say, well, I know it's not this, but I don't say that just because I can't answer their question fully. But you know what? I mean, sometimes that helps too. So by you telling her that it's not demonic, it's not anything bad, that could bring a lot of relief as well.
I hope so. Because things like that can really mess with you.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that can get scary. And, I know for myself, when I'm doing investigations and things like this, I come home with stuff. I do the protection, I do the releasing and all these things, but sometimes things hold on. And when they do, it's very important for me to immediately discern whether they're good or bad. It's like as fast as I can figure that out, the better. So I think she's in okay shape. I don't see anything there that she should be worrying about.
That is positive. I really quickly want to say to Shyla, says Dee and Moon, thanks for the prayers. I feel them. I'm glad you can feel them because we have been praying for you, and I'm glad that that's been working out for you. I want to ask a question from one of our great friends and clients, Lisa Marie Ranfala. This is a question for you, Ken, if you're ready. Do you see us moving abroad, and how do you feel about Germany?
And what was her first name?
Lisa Marie.
Lisa Marie.
Let's do readings for Lisa Marie.
Me too. I love Lisa Marie's a great friend of ours. We do readings for her, and she's just an amazing person.
You just did one today, and I just did one last week.
That's right. And now Ken's doing one on the show.
Yeah. Lisa Marie's getting a lot of readings today.
Oh, I see the expression on his face.
Mm-hmm.
If Lisa Marie does not move abroad, if she does not leave this country, she is screwing herself.
Thank you. Ken, that's 3, Lisa. That is 3. We both have told her.
So Ken, from an intuition standpoint, if you had to decide where you're actually going to have a residence, would you say Paris or Germany? What would you lean towards? Yeah, as far as where do you see them? Is it more of the Parisian? Is it more of the German?
I think that either would be okay. I would think Germany would be better.
Thank you, Ken. That's a consensus of 3.
That's 3 right there. 3 of us.
But I need her to go to Rome.
Oh.
Yes. She travels constantly.
Yeah, not to live there. I don't need her to live there. I need her to have the spiritual experience that's waiting for her there.
Did you hear that? Lisa Marie, thank you, Ken, because I'm going to tell you something. Lisa Marie, think back to a reading, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 times ago when that came up. I don't know if you remember that, but I think we've recorded most of them. So if you go back and listen, I think we actually had that same information that you needed to travel there.
You did. I remember you telling her.
Yeah, so very, very interesting.
Yeah, well, I say definitely leave.
Yeah,
definitely leave. And I think like Germany would be best. Paris is always great, but Germany would be best. But most certainly, she needs to go to Rome. There's the Hierophant is a card in the deck that is significant of the church, and when I saw it, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I have something waiting for her there. Is what my spirit was telling me. Huh. So. And I asked for clarification, and immediately it said there's a spiritual experience that is waiting for you. There's a release that is waiting for you. There is clarity in your soul that is waiting for you. So get your tail to Rome, and then pack your bags and go to Germany.
You have no idea, Ken, how dead on that is with the two of us. We've given her very, very similar readings. That's amazing.
And I think it's awesome. I mean, that I was just waiting, and then when you said, if you don't go abroad, you are screwing yourself, I was, wow, that's basically what comes up when we do readings for her all the time, and Germany as well.
Well, what's so interesting, though, is that in the center of the spread was a 9 of Cups. And that's about emotional fulfillment. That's about complete satisfaction. That's about getting what you need. And if that pops up, like all of the cards were yes, except for the emotional satisfaction. But because of what it is, I think it is equally as positive. So I would consider that a solid, absolutely yes, you must go. Absolutely. If not, you're missing out. You're totally going to miss out.
That is so awesome. Okay, Ken, we're going to do the speed reading portion of our event here.
Okay.
Because we've got about 5 minutes. We want to get a little bit more in with you. Let's see.
You want to read that one, Chrissy?
Go ahead. I've got a couple on here.
Okay, I'm going to read one from a friend of ours. Her name's Chrissy Hazard. And she says, did I do the right thing by leaving nursing to do my essential oils and Reiki?
Chrissy Hazard.
Absolutely, you did. But here's what I need her to understand. There are various different types of success. There are various different types. You have to understand why you're doing what you're doing. You have to understand what the purpose is behind it. If you don't or can't maintain a sense of the why, you're wasting your time. Reiki is about helping other people. The oils are about helping other people. It's the same thing you were doing in the medical industry, but this is a more energy specific, more spiritual type level of care that you're giving to someone. Remember that. And when you don't make $1 million, don't be upset. As long as you're living true to your purpose and to the why, you're successful. That's what it is.
That's 100% true.
I want to go back very quickly to Savannah Martin's reading that you had with her. And she said, holy cow, I've never seen you guys be so dead on. I'm literally in tears. You have no idea how accurate you were with my life and that you just helped me so much. I really needed to hear that. So you really made somebody's night tonight.
Good. Now that makes me happy. Good.
And to answer the question for Missy Ann, the one about the candles, she said, they are not being found. So they're just being taken.
I'm being quiet because I'm trying to listen to my spirit.
Mm-hmm.
They're not randomly disappearing. They're somewhere. She needs to find them.
Okay.
She needs to find them. She needs to find them, and when she does, she maybe needs to ask herself why the light in her life is missing.
Light in my life is missing. Okay, that's a very important message. Why the spark?
Why the light is not there. Why it's hard for her to find the light in her own life. It could be that this is symbolic.
A message from guides, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I was just going to say that there's some kind of lesson to be learned in it. But they're not completely disappearing. They're someplace. Don't kid yourself. They're somewhere. And when you find it, maybe it'll dawn on you like an epiphany. You know, when you find the location of them. I can't even see them. I don't even know where they're at. But that's intense. Let her know that she needs to follow me so I can stay in touch with where the hell these candles are, because that's intense.
Please do.
Chrissy Hazard, did he say yes? Yes, Chrissy, he said you did the right thing. Some people aren't hearing when you answer their questions. And the messages are just amazing. They're going to have to go back and watch the video.
Great. Already love working with you, Ken. Mm-hmm. Hey, Ken, our buddy Kyle Merriman, we call him Smile Kyle. He's a great box talker and a good friend of ours. He says, Kyle here from Bolton, Canada. Been having disturbing dreams and waking up a lot at night. So he's trying to figure out if maybe we can get a message through the cards. talking about these dreams because they've really been affecting him pretty deeply.
So Kyle is wanting to know what the purpose behind these dreams are.
Exactly. And while he's shuffling the cards, Lisa Marie, you just missed probably the most affirmation reading ever.
Ever. I mean, what
he just said
told,
the exact same thing that both of us have told you.
So about you moving abroad, he said yes. If you don't go, you're basically going to be screwing yourself because you're not going to be getting what you. Going abroad would be you getting what you need.
Go to Germany.
And he
Paris
needs
is
you.
Fine,
Mm-hmm.
and that you have to go to Rome because there's almost a spiritual religious experience that you have to have while you're there.
That's waiting for you there.
But let's get back. Okay, so Kyle and his bad dreams.
Some of them are warnings. Some of them are warnings. Some of them are also, I don't want to speak for him, but I feel like some of them are actually taking pieces of him. I think that I don't know if they're staying with him for so long or he's having a hard time processing them, but they're taking a little piece of him. That's a problem. I highly suggest that he gets a private reading with someone who can help him sort through the details of these dreams.
Right.
I want him to wake up as soon as he has them and write them down. Write down every single detail that there is. And then I need him to talk to someone who knows about. I do a bit of dream interpretation. I'd be happy to do it for him, but he needs to talk to someone who can help him figure out what part of this is symbolic and what part of this may be an attachment.
Ken Boggle, you are the goddamn real deal.
We love you. We're just you. If you could see the way we're staring at each other right now with everything you're saying, the advice you give, I swear, we're not just. This is what we say on this show, like all the time.
You don't know how many times I've told people that when they go to sleep, when they're trying to communicate with loved ones on the other side, to speak to them, to talk to them, even if in their own minds, not even speak out loud. And then once they have the experience of the dream, to immediately wake up and write down everything that they remember at that point so that they can get that message. That's exactly what I tell people. Ken, I'm in love with you.
That makes me so happy.
Ken, my boyfriend's in love with you.
I love that. I have that effect on men. I don't know what it is.
I'm telling you. Okay, we're gonna do one more here. We're gonna read one more. Dan Class is in here with us.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Deb, you can be a Box Talk member any day. It's a Box Talker.
Daniel says wine and bubble bath time.
Okay, I'm gonna read one last one, and then we're gonna talk a little bit and end up the show. This is from Rose Torres. The question to you, Ken: should I move to Austin, Texas, and what do my spirit guides want to tell me? Rose Torres, should she move to Austin, Texas? What are her guides trying to tell her?
And Dan just mentioned that he loves the shuffling sound too.
Oh, he does. I love that Dan, who also has a show on the Haunted Dog Space called Within These Walls.
That's right. I love it.
That was some good product placement, and it was natural.
And it was natural. See? Another reason why we love you, Ken.
Not yet. Don't move yet.
Okay.
There's a lot of things I think they're either occupational, well, I think they may be a bit of both, occupational and financial, that haven't been planned out yet. And if she thinks that she's planned them out, she's not planned them out fully. There's a few, and it's right in the middle. So give it a little bit more time. Maybe do more savings. Maybe get your ducks in a row. Herd those cats, as they say, and then maybe let's reshuffle and try the question again. But for right now, now's not the time. Now, if she's asking me what her spirit guides are trying to tell her, that's a second shuffle. So we're going to give her a 2 for 1.
Ooh,
she's lucky.
Lucky girl.
Yeah,
So we
very
can
lucky.
the shuffle again.
Yeah, we get one more shuffle.
We get one more shuffle.
And then I have to tell you the story really quickly about me plugging stuff. You'll have to hear that story.
Yes. And then I know you said that was going to be the last question, but we're going to end it with a question from me.
Oh. Don't put those cards away yet, Ken.
That's right.
And by the way, the audio and video is working perfectly for everyone now that we're ending.
I know. Isn't that wonderful?
That's the way it usually goes.
That's usually how it goes.
Okay, message from the guides now. Message from the guides.
Okay, Rose, I'm going to go kind of quick through this. You have to learn how to put the pieces of your life back together. You can't just sit with things that fall apart and run off from them or turn away from them. When things fall apart, we are simply giving material to rebuild in a better way. You have to learn to do that. The spirit guides are telling you, hey, we built you a tower, it fell apart, put it back together. Make it stronger, make it taller, make it exactly what it needs to be. You've learned your lessons, use it. The other thing that they're telling her is that don't change for the sake of change. You should only change if it makes you more stable. You should only change if it makes you stronger. They're also telling her to be careful of her intuition. At this point, it's a little wonky. She's not getting clear-cut, specific direction from her spirit guides like she should. So I suggest prayer. I suggest meditation. I suggest ways for her to get that space of her intuition cleared out so that she can start getting more specific information. And when she does this, the messages will start coming clearer to her. More than anything, though, there's too much conflict in her life. There's too much conflict. There's too much tension. De-stress.
Okay.
I like it. I like it a lot. That was awesome. Really quickly want to say thank you so much to Heather Larson for everything you do. You are just great.
We love you, Heather Larson. She's in there. She's a good, what do you call the moderators? And
she just does everything.
She really does.
She really does. So
I love Heather Larson. I think she's the cat's pajamas. I think she's amazing.
She really is.
I love her.
Totally agree. Totally agree. She's absolutely amazing. So Ken, before we do this final question from Dee, which I wasn't expecting, tell everybody where they can go. We got the haunted space. When is your show again? Can you leave it in there?
You can go to the haunted.space, and that's the domain name, no .com, no .org. It's the haunted.space, Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Go ahead and subscribe to the whole network. That way you get Dan Class, you get Chris and Dee, you get me, you get the Ghost Criers, you get Chad Lindbergh, who is oh my God, I'm totally like in love with Chad Lindbergh.
Uh-oh, Chris is going to get jealous here.
Oh no, now look, I'm totally in love with him. It's a thing. Yeah. But it happens Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on the haunted.space.
Awesome. If somebody, and of course who wouldn't, but if somebody wanted to reach out to you, get a reading, how would they do that?